All right, here with my brother, Bryan, Coach Bryan. Yeah, amateur MMA fighter, undefeated, right?
Undefeated.
And donates, but you committed to the students and teaching, and you living the life, living the martial art lifestyle.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, bro.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. Yeah.
How long have you been training for now?
I started in 2020, so 5 years now.
5 years, yeah.
5 years consistently. Yeah. I used to train when as a kid. Yeah, I did a little bit of martial arts, but I stopped and then got right back to it.
Yeah. What made you want to come in and do jiu-jitsu or this kind of stuff?
I was really overweight, and I was just kind of like looking up gyms, and I saw you guys had Muay Thai, and so I came
from Muay Thai.
Yeah,
cool.
And I ended up being like, I should just do some jiu-jitsu, and then I stuck with jiu-jitsu for 4 years around there. And yeah,
that's awesome, man. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so when did you want to do jiu-jitsu? You wanted to do Muay Thai, and then you found jiu-jitsu through Muay Thai.
Yeah,
and we vice versa, right? We'll find Muay Thai through jiu-jitsu.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's cool. It worked out. I remember when I was a white belt, I actually tried one Muay Thai class, and with the bank system, I was like, "This is way too complicated." I just went back to jiu-jitsu, and then one way through the other. I mean, I started doing MMA and I started doing bang. And now,
what made you want to do an MMA fight?
Honestly, it all just kind of happened randomly. Like, I never really planned to be an MMA fighter. My goal was just to train jiu-jitsu, just to lose weight. And then I lost my job in October of 2023. And so I was working in the mornings, and I was like, well, what am I going to do now, And I was like, I'm going to go try the MMA class. And I just
in the morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin.
Yeah, with Kevin. And I just showed up, and he was all like, what are you doing here? And so I just started training. And then afterwards, I was like, I think I'm going to stay for Muay Thai. It worked out perfectly. It was 7 a.m. and then 8 a.m. Muay Thai. And from then on, 2 months later, Kevin was like, hey, he's like, Yas and somebody else, they're like, oh, they're going to be fighting Matt. He was like, they're going to be fighting. He's like, do you want to get a fight? And I was like, yeah. I was like, why not? And then that's literally just how it started. It's crazy. Yeah.
How was it for your first fight, like the experience? Describe it.
It was, from weight cutting, it was crazy because I'd competed in jiu-jitsu before, but I just competed at my walking around weight. And some tournaments I got smashed because I shouldn't have been doing that. And then so now,
and it's different too. It's like a day before weigh-in, right, for MMA, which changes it up.
Exactly. And then having to really go on a strict diet, and then hopping in the sauna, doing the water loading. It was all I was like, I'm doing this just to fight. This is crazy. And after all that happened, I mean, the fighting part, it's kind of crazy because it just only you don't even really remember it. You just remember walking out, you get in there, you remember being announced, and then once the bell rings, you just remember flashes, right? And then you step out and you're like, oh, it's over, and you're just tired. So, but it was cool. I mean,
I remember that first fight was it was crazy, right? It was 3 rounds, right?
Yeah, it was a dog fight. Yeah, I had all the confidence in the world that I was gonna get him out of there in the first round, and he was tough, man. I just gassed myself out, and then second and third round,
But it's such a good experience to go the distance, right? And
exactly.
To go through all that.
I'm grateful for it, yeah, because he really, I mean, we went at it, man, and thank God I came out successful,
Because you kind of see how you are controlling your nerves, right? All these different things.
Yeah, and it's weird because in the back, I'm super nervous. I'm just thinking, my brain's just. I'm hitting pads, and I'm like, then it kind of starts to go away. As
what were you thinking about?
I was like, man, I better get him out of here in the first round. I was like,
get over it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not getting paid by the hour. I need to get in and get out. But once you get in there, now it's okay.
So how has it evolved now?
For the second fight,
because I think people in jiu-jitsu and other combat sports, they can relate, right? I want to just be done with it, just get rid of that anxiety.
Exactly.
But it's you can make mistakes that way too, right? Overcommitting.
I definitely, it's taught me, not just in life, I guess in life as well. Let's say I'm they're asking me to public speak, right? For a big class and stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely helped me calm my nerves, because now I'm okay, I need to think straight. I need to execute my game plan. And for the second fight, that was my thing. The whole day of the fight, I was just I even did yoga in my room. I think I was really trying to like condition my mind that like it's like we're gonna work as one and we're gonna be calm. We're gonna like go out there and do our job. So I think that's really the change, you know.
Yeah, evolving, right? And being calm under stress, right? Under pressure, being more calm, as calm as you can be, right?
Exactly, yeah. And then in the end, I feel like also the anxiety and like the nerves, like I feel like it helps you, you know, like
Of course, yeah.
it makes you like your reactions are like on point. Like it's almost like kind of like ultra instinct. Like things get brighter. Like it's almost like
That helps you. Yeah, it's just super. Like gets you. Like Gracie talks about. If you're not nervous, there's something wrong with you, right? You use the nerves to perform better.
Oh yeah.
Or you can use the nerves to get you to mess you up, right?
Yeah. And then at the same time, like it's like I say and I tell myself, I'm like, this is normal. Like it's normal. Like you should be feeling nervous. Like there's a lot, but at the same time, like you're good. Like you did all the training. I think that's where because during those 2 months, like when you accept the fight, you know, like I get anxious out of nowhere. Like I'll be like laying in bed and then I'm like watching the guys fight. Like and I'm like, man. But as soon as I get in the gym, it goes away. And then I feel good for like a couple hours. And then I'm like, I gotta go train again. You know? So it's
That's it. That's
the life.
That's how it is. Yeah, that's how it is. That's what gets you. That's what motivates you, right? To keep on it. 'Cause you don't want to go out there and not, you know, the other guy did more than you, right? Worked harder than you and more prepared than you, and then
Exactly. And I don't want to question it. So it's like that's how I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I did enough. But even then, you're still sitting there and you're like, did I do enough? You know? It's really like it's a.
You have to fight. That's why coaching comes in, right? Hey, chill out. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Take it easy, rest. Go get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's. I mean, I have such a good group of people around me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I have Kevin. We have you. Like we have Andy. We have Roadhouse. Like we have so many good coaches that like, you know, they've been in the fight, like competition or like MMA fight, Muay Thai fight, whatever.
Yeah, combat.
You know, yeah, they're all very supportive. They're all very like have your back, and I know whatever question I have, I could just go to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm also very like, I need to have everything like a certain way. Like if something's not right, like I'm like okay, like I obsess over it. I'm like okay.
Like routines.
Yeah, or like even like my jab or like even like my cross. Like I hate watching myself like on video. Like my fights, I've only watched them once, like each. And it was a hard watch because I'm just like watching. I'm not even enjoying it. I'm just like nitpicking. I'm just like, I could have done this, could have done that. It's not fun for me, like, to watch myself, you know?
Can you watch it right away or do you have to wait a little bit?
I waited months. I didn't even buy it. I was like, I'm going to wait months, like, and until, like, it all went away. And then just recently, like, I haven't, my last fight was almost like a year ago now. And I didn't watch it until, like, 2 months ago in April. So it's like, and even then I was sitting in bed and I was just like if I was watching it in real time, you know, it's.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. How did you start coaching at Legacy Pasadena?
That was about in 2022 when Professor Dan brought me over there. And so he was the one that he asked me to coach a while ago. And I was like, I just don't think like with other people's kids and like I don't really think I'm like I could really do that. And one way or the other, he got me to start coaching. And then I actually ended up really liking it, like, because then I'm, you know, having to explain the things that I do. And then not only that, but I could share, like, some of the things that I like to do with the kids. And it's cool because, I mean, I played sports and stuff. And it's one of those things where...
What sports did you play growing up?
I played football. I played a lot of football. And then I also did, like I said, I did martial arts. Like I did Taekwondo when I was younger. I actually went to an MMA gym when I was like 12. It was somewhere in Tahunga where I live. It's no longer, but they had us doing like all kinds of things like Jiu-Jitsu and stuff. So I had an early introduction to that. And the thing is like, I'm sure you remember too, like all the coaches that you've ever had, good or bad, you always remember them.
Yeah.
Like you remember the advice, no matter, or sometimes you're like, man, that guy was an asshole. Like, you know, but
the good and the bad, right?
Exactly. You always remember like everything. Or you're like, oh man, like that guy was like super supportive and stuff like that. Like and I'm seeing like, I'm like, okay, like now that I'm an adult and I get to have like an influence on these kids' lives, like they look forward to it. Like they look forward to training. They look forward. Some days I'm gone, like for like a week or two, and then I come back and they're like, where were you? And I'm just kind of like, oh man, like you were thinking of me, like, you know what I mean? Or you miss a day and they're like, oh, where were you yesterday? And like it's like, oh man, like they know my days are like Wednesdays. Like it's cool. Like it's cool to form a relationship. And then I've coached some of them in competition and just like seeing them like get into the fire and like stuff like that, like it's a cool thing to see because this is stuff that you're never gonna forget about. Like you may move on and never want to do jiu-jitsu ever again, but you're gonna think back to August 3rd in 2022 when you were out there competing and like
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing that I get to give back. I love it.
Yeah. Like life, we're on our cell phones and I don't know, just life is kind of easier, right? This is like, especially like I think like a lot of youth, right? And adults too, right? It's like for us, life is kind of easy compared to like how it was 100 years ago or whatever, right? Like,
yeah.
So like martial arts is a way to kind of like, get harder and get tougher, right?
Yeah.
So how do you think, how important is like martial arts training, like real martial arts training for kids?
Super important. I feel like it's important for everybody because this is something that, like me now that I'm coaching and training, I try to get everybody in the gym. Like my coworkers, my friends, everybody. Like if you know me outside of the gym, like I've recommended you to start training. Mm-hmm. And because I just think it's essential, like not only for kids because it builds character, like it helps them form like good healthy relationships because I have 2 sisters who are in high school and I tell them to get into sports. I'm like, you don't want to come to the gym with me, go do a sport. Like because you're gonna find like-minded people. Some of the friends that I have like 2 friends from high school and they were guys I played football with.
There you go.
And like you guys kind of live similar lives. Like you guys both go to school, both play a sport. Like you're almost on the same trajectory. So you don't want to be, messing around with people who are doing bad stuff out at the gym and stuff because then they're going to drag you. And
right.
I think that's important for
distraction,
kids.
Yeah.
And then
distract you out of what's good.
Exactly. And I think sports, team sports or whatever sport, it's like a mini life simulation. Like we talk about like fighting and like training. Like if you think about it, like having to push through things and push through adversity. And if something doesn't work, fixing it, like all that stuff is that you could apply to life. Like staying calm, like being
under pressure,
being in uncomfortable situations, like knowing how to like do things the right way and get yourself out of situations the right way, not just like acting out on what you think is right. It makes you think, so I think it's something that kids need, adults need, and that way we'd have less fights too, less people,
right.
Trying to prove themselves and stuff like that.
That's it, right?
Yeah, because
you think training martial arts makes you like fighting, right? But it actually makes you not fight, right?
It makes you calm. Like, I used to be such like an angry person outside of this, and then now like I'm just kind of like,
it's not worth it. Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things.
Doesn't bother you.
It doesn't, like, and I feel like that would help because there's people want to start a fight over nothing, and it's like it's not the same as in the gym. Like you get your ass kicked on the street, like that's it, that's that, or something bad's gonna happen to you afterwards. But in the gym, like I could beat someone up, and then the next day they're gonna come back and beat me up, and then so on and so forth. But like we're friends, like it's like
you're helping each other become better.
Exactly, and it's nothing personal.
Yourself, yeah,
it's nothing personal. Like it's just we're having fun. Like, so yeah, I think training for anybody, like get in the gym. Like I tell the people who I recommend to, I'm like, you don't have to compete, you don't have to go do MMA, you don't have to go do competition, you don't have to do any of that. Just show up, because I was one of those people that even to this day, like I don't really like lifting weights. Like before I really didn't like it. That's why I got into jiu-jitsu because I was like, I'm never gonna lose weight, trying to run and lift weights. I don't like it. So I was like, let me find something else.
Kind of boring, right?
It's boring. It's repetitive. I feel like a hamster. Like I'm just,
It's good to supplement your jiu-jitsu or your combat training, right?
Yeah, and then now
to get you better for that.
For the comps, yeah, because now it's like first competition, didn't go my way, and I was like, okay, I need to start lifting. I need to start running. I need to start training 2-3 times a day, and just little by little, I just started building it up, and now I enjoy it, But it was a build-up, Imagine if I would have set myself up for failure if I like just try to get myself into it and I just burn myself out. And I'm like, I hate this. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. How did you? How much weight did you lose for when you came in when you first started?
Oh man, I was 225, and now I'm down to like I walk around at like 180, 176 around there. Like, and still even now, like I eat whatever I want.
Like almost 50 pounds, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
And it's just been great. And then now, like, when I'm getting ready for fights and I, like, eat clean, I get down to, like, I'm eating like a normal person, like, clean.
Yeah.
I get down to, like, 167, and, like, that would be, like, my normal weight, and I think that's awesome. And that's what I always tell people. I'm like, hey, like...
A lifestyle, right?
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
Always living it. Stay good always.
Exactly. And then it's cool because I have to control myself a little bit as to what I eat because... like let's say like I have training like because I train pretty much every day, like 5-6 times a week. I can't like I love canes, right? Like I can't go and eat like fried foods like the night before training because then I'm hitting pads and I just feel horrible. So it regulates.
That's it. Yeah, you're like I don't want to feel like crap tomorrow.
Exactly.
When I train.
I'm like, I'll just go to
Keeps you
Açai Jungle. Get something clean.
Tasty and clean, right?
Exactly.
Or you feel bad the next day.
Exactly.
Nice, man.
Mm-hmm.
Up next fighting. What? Tell me some words about Up Next.
Up Next is dope. Like, I think all the production. I mean, being there at the fights. Like, I've been to other amateur fights for other promotions, and like it feels like an amateur fight. And fighting for Up Next, it's like the lights, like the things they do with their social media. Like they have the schmo there, which I thought was crazy. Like, I remember for my first fight, I was like, what? Like I'm talking to the schmo. Like that's always like a thing to me. That's like, cause I am a fan of MMA. I grew up a fan of fighting and boxing and all that stuff. So like seeing personalities that I like, Mayhem Miller. I think for my last fight they had Mayhem Miller there, and I grew up like watching Bully Beatdown and like just seeing all that. Like
he's like a character based on kind of like Jason Mayhem Miller, right?
Yeah, because he's just actually like that. You know?
Yeah.
Just meeting them, it's like it's crazy. Like and then now like before like I used to watch Up Next's fights actually on YouTube, and then now like I'll go to gyms and like I'll go train and I'll see guys that I was watching on Up Next. Like it's just the platform, you know, because I'm sure like there's other good guys in other promotions, but I don't see their videos like up on YouTube. Like they're not showing that much exposure for these guys who are really, really
and
good.
giving you guys practice too, right?
Exactly.
Like doing interviews, how to speak, how to communicate, how to sell yourself, right?
Yeah, that's another thing that's big is that they really make the effort. Like they do the gym drop-ins, like they really put in the effort to put the athletes out there and put these gyms out there. So like not only if like you're somebody who wants to get into fighting, if you're just somebody who follows fighting and you're like in the area, you're like, oh man, like I live around this gym, like I could go check it out, like. Because they see what we offer, like, yeah, and they just, you know, they get an in-depth look of, like, the athletes, you know, because some of us, like, it's cool, like, you know?
Yeah. Awesome, man. What are some goals, MMA, for you?
MMA-wise, I want to keep this win streak going. That's the main thing. I want to keep evolving.
Because it just started by chance, right? You stepping into the cage and fighting.
Exactly.
And now how many fights have you done?
2. And I've won both of them. And, like, I'm not saying, like, I wasn't expecting it, but I kind of wasn't expecting it. And it's, I mean, at the same time, obviously, I trained hard so I could win. But, like, if you would have asked me, you know, like 2 years ago, I would have never thought this is what would be happening. But now I'm like, okay, I have to keep it going. And not only, like, am I kind of new to fighting, but it's, like, now having to maintain that and also, like, evolve as a fighter. Like, I think it's awesome. Like, because I'm just scratching the surface, you know. I still have so much more to go. Like I was still learning how to jab when I was taking those fights, so it's like now like slowly building it up. I'm like I want to keep it going. Like I want to get to be a pro fighter, and I just want to keep evolving as a martial artist. Everybody always says about they want to be champ and they want to be number one, and everybody wants to do that, but I want to evolve like my own style. I want to evolve and be a really great fighter. A fighter that people want to watch, you know, a fighter that people are like, oh man, like Bryan's going to be fighting, like let's watch that, you know?
Be the best fighter you can be.
Exactly.
Exciting.
Yeah, because if I'm that, then who knows where I go, you know what I mean? And for me, the goal is just to keep training.
That's a good mindset. That's a good mindset.
It's just to keep training. I don't want to put that pressure on myself of like, oh, I'm going to be, because if I do all those things that I'm saying right now of evolving as a fighter,
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Everything's going to happen.
So, you know, because there's so many fighters that like, I watch and stuff, and you see their style, like it's like they're them, like you know, like you see a silhouette of them, and like you're like, oh, that's Alex Pereira, that's, you know what I mean, like
yeah, like some other people say they you don't have to win this, you don't have to win that, but you do have to improve. Every you know, you have to improve. You have to become the best version of yourself, right?
Exactly, and that's how I take it. Like,
and then with that, if you have that mindset, things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a loss here and there, or something happens, right? That you don't, injuries, whatever. But if you keep that mindset, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and you bounce back. I mean, it's like you see now in the UFC, so many guys are losing their O, but it just goes to show you, like this isn't boxing, and it's one of those things where like this goes to show you how much the sport is evolving because it's new. Like you're like one of the pioneers. Like these guys are some of the pioneers. Like it's evolving. Like.
Yeah.
the years are going by, and like some of these guys are like pure MMA fighters. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
back in the day, it was right style versus style, right?
Yeah.
Proving jiu-jitsu's effectiveness and all that.
No time limit, like no weight classes, it's just some crazy savage
But
stuff.
now everybody, even in grappling, right? You have to have your judo, you have to have your wrestling, you have to have all your things on point. You know,
you got to be versatile. You have to.
You have to be have your all your positions on point. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you see all these guys, like all these matchups, like Marab, like he says it, like he's like, I'm not the best at everything, but like that fucking third.
I'm good at everything.
Yeah, that third lung that he has, like it's like nobody has an answer yet. Like, you know what I mean? But somebody who just fought this weekend, I don't really remember, but like Ilya,
yeah.
That's another one. Like,
what do you think about his last fights?
You know what's funny is that Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira are like two of my favorite fighters.
Yeah.
And like I can't even be mad.
And he even says, he's like, man, I don't really want to have to do this, you know? And so it makes you like him too, right?
I watched that video with the face off and I was like, this guy's a psycho. Like he's like sitting there telling Charles Oliveira.
He's scary, but he's so calm. He's so calm. And when he's talking about it, he's just like, as a matter of fact, you know, we're gonna have to do it, first round, just.
Well, he said
I don't want to do it because he's a really nice guy, family guy.
Yeah, and he said it to him. He's like, I hate that it had to be you. I was like, what? Who says that?
What do you say? What do you say to that? What do you say to that?
Nothing.
He celebrated the night before.
Yeah.
Celebrated the night before. You imagine the confidence in that.
But he also says
even the drinking wine, right, to cut weight.
Yeah, but he went on an interview recently and he said that he's like, I go in so confident. He's like, because he's like, in my opinion, he's like, the fight is won in the training. He's like, and I train so hard. He's like, and I see these things. He said, because of the training. He's like, so by the time I get to the fight, like, the fight is mine. Like I did everything that I had to do and I know what's gonna happen, and it transpires, and it's really cool to see. Like, cause Volk, when that happened, I remember even having a tweet. I knew he was gonna become champ, and I was like, it's gonna happen. And then with Max, I was a little more optimistic because I love Max.
Yeah,
like,
he's tough. He's not gonna go down, you know.
And I'm like, okay, like he's such a good striker that he's gonna give him a war.
And he's been in wars, right?
Exactly. He's Max Holloway. He's never been knocked out, and he got knocked out. And then with Charles Oliveira, you know what's funny? I was at work actually. And I took my 10-minute break right when the fight came on. And I literally had time to watch the walkouts and the fight. And then I went back on my shift and I was like, I can't believe what I just saw. Like,
we were coming back from Japan and we're in the airport actually. And my daughter we're watching it, and then we watched the knockout. We're like, oh my, because we tied up and he's going for the light luck, and we're like, okay, oh. And then they stood back up, and then boom, knockout.
Well, what impressed me
what
impressed me the most was like when Charles went to take him down he tied up with him, and he reversed it, ended up in guard, and like right away passed into like a crucifix. And I was like that. I feel like that's such like an underrated moment of the fight because I was like, that was crazy.
How high level grappler he is.
Yeah,
right?
I was like,
his takedowns, his jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, it like in a heartbeat. Like
he went against you know who Ryan Hall is?
Yeah, I know who Ryan Hall is.
You know, so he beat knocked out Ryan Hall, right?
Yeah. He went after it. Ryan Hall was doing his thing, rolling into, the
trying to catch rolls him and all that.
Yeah, and Ilya was just
he says that he trains everything separate. He doesn't do MMA. He does boxing, wrestling.
Ilya trains everything separate, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's a force. I mean with the striking, it's
And, I mean, at a certain point, you got to put it together, right? You got to do MMA.
He says if you know them well, you do. He said, but he doesn't do MMA.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He doesn't MMA. He never trains MMA?
No, he doesn't do MMA. Like, he doesn't do MMA training. He does specific training.
Huh.
like his pad work and stuff, I guess. I mean, just with his boxing, I feel like he has a really good ability of like.
I mean, GSP used to do his wrestling, do his jiu-jitsu, right, separately. But at a certain point, you got to put it together. I would think,
Well, he does his game plan, but he's not training MMA.
Yeah.
Okay.
And George St. Pierre, he also had like John Danaher as a coach. That's something that I like recently learned. Like he would bring in like Muay Thai coaches. Like he had some of the best.
GSP.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Which I thought was
even
nuts.
even because I'm from New Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And Greg Jackson. So at a certain point, because he was really good with game planning and just the MMA game, like he had a good, his mind was, I think he's one of the top coaches.
Yeah.
For that time period especially, and he even went out there,
Yeah.
And who was I listening to? Rashad Evans. Do you remember Rashad Evans?
Yeah, I know
He was like
Rashad Evans.
a tough champion and all that. But he's just talking about how when he was hanging out with GSP, they would go to Phil Nurse in New York. They'd go train with Henzo. They would, then he came out. Then of course they were in Greg Jackson's together. But they would and the TriStar, and so they go all these like
For Asahabi,
all these top places, to get their training on,
Had a lot of good fighters. I mean, Carlos Condit, that's another one that kind of goes under the radar because like John Jones and stuff. But like Carlos Condit was another one that was like that's like another one of my favorite fighters because he was just an animal.
Because we were talking for him to come out here, one of these days, to do like a seminar,
That'd be crazy. Yeah, that'd be insane to have Carlos Condit.
Yeah, you get people to come?
Yeah, of course. I watched his podcast recently on the Jackson podcast.
Okay.
And it's very hard for me to sometimes like watch podcasts like all throughout. I'll play them in the car.
Yeah.
But that one, like I remember sitting in my driveway and just listening.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I'm gonna hit him up.
He's a cool guy. He seems cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked a while back because somebody else put us in touch to talk. And yeah, I know him from back in the day.
Yeah, man. He's just
Mexico days when he was just starting out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's crazy like hearing the backstory too on like a lot of you guys like Andy and like Ozzy like all, like this connection that I see like and then like Ozzy his son and his daughter they come to Legacy Pasadena and like I had never really spoken to him right
yeah.
He always just kind of sits there like on his laptop and he doesn't really say anything to anybody and then I found out through Travis the guy that works here that he's like oh yeah like he's like no, I found out through Andy. Andy told me that like Ozzy broke his nose.
I want to do a podcast with Ozzy. I got to bring him in. One of these days. Yeah.
He's also like talking to him too. Like I get lost sometimes because he'll be telling me about here and then like just all kinds of stuff. Like he's just like
stories and stuff.
Yeah, stories and like just just experiences and like he knows this person and that person and I'm just kind of like man like everything's like.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see, Like,
Pasadena, like Legacy Pasadena, man, there's like so much history there,
Yeah,
it's pretty
heard.
cool. Yeah. It was, when I first walked into the speakeasy gym behind it, right? It used to be Gold's Gym.
Really?
And so it's cool. It's a really cool spot. Like,
yeah.
I'm not sure. I heard it's like neon lights and stuff, and it's like kind of darker.
It's like a club scene.
Yeah, it's like a club a little bit. Yeah. But back in the day, it was like like the skylights, and there was like outdoor area. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So I would go train there too, and just after one of the workouts, I just went for a walk, and I went around the corner. I was with my son. He was a baby, and I was like, "What's this place?" It's like weights. What it said, like a few sauna, and it was vacated. It was vacated, and I was like, I went inside, and I was like, how's that? And just randomly call, and then he gave me a tour, and I walked inside. I was like, whoa,
yeah,
this is crazy, and I was Orlando Sanchez, was my students, and so I think he maybe went in with me that day. I was like, hey man, if we can get like 20 signups, whatever, in that area, I'll sign the lease,
Oh yeah.
And we did it, and so I signed the lease, and that's how it started.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't planning on doing a gym there, but I did all my workouts, like the City of Tong, the Walter. Yeah. And then I had a trainer at that old gym that I would train with too. So it's like full circle, and then yeah, man, just the landlord came here. And I was like, "Hey, man, would you be interested in taking over the gym or whatever?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, they haven't paid the lease. They haven't paid the rent.
Yeah.
For whatever, I don't know how many months. And it was like after the pandemic and all that. But still, I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And so I went by, and actually I went by to go talk to him. I was gonna just talk to him for like whatever, a couple minutes, and then staying there for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Tony Tulinris, he's like this world class like karate champion. Yeah. Like back in the day when it was real. Like in the 70s and stuff. I even put his magazine, Black Belt magazine, on the wall there in the gym.
I see it. It's signed.
Yeah,
I've seen it. Yeah.
See, he like fought Chuck Norris. He beat him every time. Yeah. So yeah, man, he's this legend. Like local legend, tough guy. And like it was real martial arts, right?
Yeah,
and he built that place only as a martial arts gym since day one. He built the place for a martial arts gym. So everything is like designed. I mean, the showers, the sauna, the layout is it was
it's a huge space too.
Yeah, yeah,
it's huge. Yeah,
beautiful mat, just the lineup, right? It's like very zen in a way, too.
Just looking at it from like the perspective when you come in through the back door, like it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've always like that, and it's cool to hear the story because when I'm going home, like I walk by it every day, and like I look at it, and there's another poster. I believe it's judo, like right next to it.
Judo.
It might be judo or it might be karate. I'm
probably,
not too sure.
Karate. I put a couple karate things there. Yeah, some old school things from the 70s because that was like the real time of, the real fighting.
But see, like that's cool. Like that's something that I could, because people stare at
because
them.
karate and all that turned into like taekwondo and like business kind of thing. But back then it was like kind of like they make the Karate Kid, the Cobra Kai, This is real American karate, whatever.
Yeah.
But they were like real fighters, back, it was like for real, back then.
Yeah.
Like if you were, that's what you did.
That was the thing, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
With
So that was his day.
Man, that's cool. It's cool to like know that because like I said, I walk by it every day and like I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's Chuck Norris, and then you know what I mean? But it's cool now to know the history behind it.
So there's a lot of years, and then his student took over the gym, and then he passed away.
Oh man.
Actually, no, I think or his health went down, so he kind of like walked out, and it was vacated.
Yeah. Oh,
and Akko.
Yeah, I know
Akko Harper. He trained there, and all these. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, in Pasadena, there's so many like gyms. Like you have I think it's Fight Academy.
Fight Academy.
But then there's also like Aragon and like City of Tom. It's like all these, and then us. Like it's like all this like.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool.
Yeah, I did a lot of my training back in the day there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I've heard, like it's like all this.
And
stuff,
all the restaurants, all the spots.
Yeah.
My lift on at Gold's back in the day when it was Gold's.
Yeah. Well, Ozzy, like I said, like it'd be cool to have him on the podcast because like Ozzy was one of the ones that like talking to him, like that's how I knew kind of like the history of, not the history, but like I knew a little bit of like background.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Because back in the day, he, we were friends, and he was kind of just starting out too in those days, in Muay Thai, And then I remember he met his wife. Like even I was like not even that he was nothing. He didn't meet her yet. But then like later on he met his wife, and now they have kids, and the kids are training at the gym. So I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
And then I had my daughter train with I think his son. And when she came to train last time to teach. When
she came to show them some wrestling. I think that's awesome too. Like showing the kids like some wrestling. From somebody who's like, like she's in high school and like it's almost like she's kind of been there, done that with all these competitions.
Yeah.
It's cool to see her teaching them because I mean.
But she also has jiu-jitsu, right? Too. World champion jiu-jitsu and exactly. all the years, and she knows what and then she has the wrestling now, so like
exactly
she can talk the talk.
And I'm like, she's in high school, like it's like so it's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy
for the kids to see that. Like I think that's really cool. Yeah,
she doesn't even realize being 16 and how much experience that she has.
Yeah, like I'm like it's crazy, but it's like it's like I said, like it's
that's
like
the evolution,
the
right?
Potential.
Yeah, it's the evolution.
Scratching it, like it's like. So many more years to go, and like what else is in store.
Yeah. Where do you see martial arts? Where do you see UFC and these things going in the next 5 years, 10 years?
I mean, it's huge now. Like I remember when I was younger, my dad was like a big fan of boxing and MMA. That's kind of what got me into it because he would watch fights and he'd be like, "Oh, it's like who do you think's gonna win?"
So you would watch fights with your dad?
Yeah, and I watched fights. And I remember, like, I would watch, like, John Jones, like, that, like, GSP, like, or, like, Cain Velasquez. That's another one that was, like, he was huge in my house.
Oh, that's cool, man. That was, like, my day, That was, like, a little bit after my time, because I had moved out to L.A.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, those...
this is around, like...
Greg Jackson guys,
2010, yeah, like...
Well, not Cain Velasquez, but John Jones and those guys.
Cain Velasquez was AKA before, like, Khabib and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Javier Menendez, like... And watching, like, Cain, like, that was another thing where I was like, oh, man, like, this is cool because, like, I knew there was, in boxing, there's, like, plenty of Mexicans. Like, I would always watch all the Mexicans, like, Margarito, Juan Manuel Marquez, like, all these, like, legends. Like, I didn't get to watch Chavez, but I did get to watch, like, De La Hoya, like, Canelo, like, when he lost to Floyd. Like, I grew up, like, watching these guys, and, like, I always knew, like, we had boxers, but then like now being able to see like it's like we have guys like in the UFC like Cain, and then now we have Brandon Moreno, like it's really cool because it's like people from all over the world, like Alexa Grasso, like there's so many fighters, and like I said, Cain Velasquez, like that's another one of my favorite fighters because just his style, like he's just an animal.
Yeah.
You know? And then I get to watch
when
him,
he fought Brock Lesnar.
and he beat the brakes out of Brock Lesnar.
Because Brock Lesnar was like untouchable.
He was like the boogeyman.
He was the boogeyman, yeah.
I mean, just seeing him, you know, like
he had to make special UFC gloves for the size of his hand, right?
Yeah, my dad. I remember watching it. My dad's like, he's like, you think he's like that guy's gonna beat up Brock Lesnar? Because I used to watch WWE, and I was like, there's no way he's gonna beat up Brock Lesnar. And he's like, watch this, and he just got on Brock Lesnar and he beat the brakes off him. But it just showed like Cain was like a great representation. Like I thought it was awesome, and I think that was like one of the moments where I was like, because I would watch John Jones fight and he would just make it look. I watched him choke out like Lyoto Machida and like the karate guy, but that's another real karate guy. Like it's you know what I mean, like all this stuff, like these memories that I have, and then now seeing it because sometimes like I'll be at work or I'll be out like I'll just be out and about. And people are wearing, like, the kids, and people are wearing, like, these shirts with, like, Sean O'Malley and Charles Oliveira, and I'm just kind of like, this is crazy, because back then, like, I remember, like, UFC was kind of like a...
Underground a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and even the venues look, like, smaller, you know? I still remember that. I mean, I watch fights all the time. Venues look, like, smaller and stuff like that, and now it's, like, these venues are huge, like, you know, the president's there, like, like, athletes are there, like, all kinds of people they want to watch UFC, like... You go on, it's just everywhere now.
Did you see that 250th, whatever year of the U.S. they're gonna have the UFC at the White House? Did
really?
You see that? They announced that?
No idea.
On the lawn.
Trump said they're gonna have a fight in the lawn.
Oh, I did
On
hear
the
about
lawn.
that. Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah,
What do
that's
you think
crazy.
about that?
That's another thing that's like that's nuts. But you
To
see what I
celebrate
mean?
the 250th
Like-
anniversary.
Like who would have thought, you know? And then like now it's definitely one of those things. Like it's cool to see so many people like. Well, the only thing that I don't like is like watching fights at like bars, right? Because then I had to hear other people's opinions.
yeah.
About like grappling and stuff.
Really? I get annoyed too.
Matthew, and we hear these guys and then look at each other like.
Yeah. Like I'll be sitting there and I'm like, what are you talking about?
If they're my friends, if they're like people that it's all good, I can laugh, I can say something back.
Yeah.
But like, you go to a bar and people are saying stupid stuff like that, I get annoyed and like, then you're kind of
I'm like,
you're like somebody you care about or whatever.
Yeah, I watched the
I get insulted.
Yeah, I watched the Marab fight. I watched the Marab fight against Sean
At the bar?
No, I watched it with some friends, and like just. Somebody was like, "Why isn't Sean trying to get up? Like, why isn't he?" And I was like, "Look at his
you
face,
train, bro. Come on,
I was like, "Dude, he's getting kneed like while he's on the ground," and I'm like, "You know what I mean?" But I'm just sitting there, and he's like, "I just don't get why he's not trying to get up," and I'm just looking at him like, "What?" Like, believe me, like, there's nothing more that he wants in the world to get up, but. I think it's awesome because maybe that'll get more people in the gym, get more people to start training and stuff, and I mean, I don't know, but people watch boxing and like they don't know anything about boxing and they're never gonna box in their life.
Everybody has what is it the saying that everybody has a opinion, fair weather fans, in boxing, and fighting,
But it's weird
but
because
also everybody has their opinion like that in horse racing.
Yeah, to me it's weird though because it's like with fighting, it seems like almost everybody thinks that they could fight, but it's like. You don't watch like the NBA, you don't watch like pro soccer, and you're like, oh, like I could run it against even somebody who's like a college athlete, like like they don't think that, but for some reason they think like they could like.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean?
You say that.
I don't understand
that because like it's so primal, it's so like you understand what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Like the guy's winning or losing. Like some sports, you're like you're not sure.
Yeah.
Or you don't know the rules maybe, but this it's like. It's like
yeah, exactly.
One guy's winning, one guy's losing. Like it's
it's clear to see,
clear as day. Yeah,
yeah. And some people like they just
and so they feel like they understand it because of that.
Oh,
right?
I could do that. Like I could, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, you can't. Like, but it's like you wouldn't, I wouldn't go into a gym at like Duke or something, or like even at PCC, and I wouldn't try to play basketball against those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what I'm doing. But for some reason, people are like, oh. Like Bradley Martin, like, I'm sure it was a joke, but he was like, oh, he's like, you think you can take me in a fight, but I'm 250. And I'm like, you go to amateur boxing gym, and I'll get a high school kid with 10 fights, and you'll kick your ass. Like,
That's funny.
you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. Like, it's like,
and it's a reality check because you know from training, right? Like, makes you humble. Like, you know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know how it works.
yeah, like it's like,
But these guys are in a fantasy land, right?
yeah, but I mean, you get in here and it, like, you realize really, really fast. Like, it's funny because even with like Muay Thai, I remember one time somebody brought their coworker, and they brought him in, and we were doing like, we were just doing combinations, and then afterwards, I was like, I asked him, I was like, what'd you think? Like, he's like, I am so disappointed in myself. He's like, I thought that was gonna go so much better. He's like, I spent the whole time learning how to jab, like, and it's just like this thing where it's a reality check,
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like back in the day, I wasn't sure. I did jiu-jitsu, and I loved jiu-jitsu, and I wanted to be the best and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got my black belt, and I was like, King of the Cage, which it was a big deal back in those days.
Yeah.
But they were coming to New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was with Greg Jackson, and I was like, I think I'd like to fight just to prove, like, I was still representing jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah, of
because
course.
it was those days still. And they did 1 fight, 2 fights, but I never thought it was going to be like what it became, like a mainstream sport on ESPN, and like with all these other big sports, right?
Yeah.
I never thought it, but Greg Jackson did believe in it, and here we are, like the White House.
Yeah.
White House. What are you talking about?
I mean, it's two guys fighting in a cage. What's there
What?
not
A
to
cage?
like?
A cage?
Yeah.
White House? Like, what?
Yeah, I was just talking about this with my barber. I was like, they should put this on like Netflix or something. Like, if they put, like people are,
What?
it'd be.
That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, people like to watch it. I mean, it's cool. I mean, you see a guy like Max Holloway fight, or like Dustin Poirier, like all these guys that are just like.
You think, it's a barbaric, it's this and that. But if you're in martial arts and you understand the training, what it does for you as a person, it makes you a better person.
No, yeah.
And you teach kids, and you understand, like, the girls and the boys, what it does for them as humans.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna grow up to be better people because of it.
Yeah. Well, I've been there now long enough to see some kids when they first started, and then like to where they are now, like helping out other kids, and then just remembering their first day, and like it's cool to see because like
You change your life forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
the way they've evolved, like it's like they're just and like how their attitudes change, like like one day they go from being all, and now they're more like they're getting
More
older,
shy,
so
they're all
more
shy,
like, yeah,
and
now
now
they're
they're
like more monotone, and I'm like, dude, you weren't like this, man. Like, but it's cool. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I don't want. I want to keep doing. Same thing with training. Like, it's something that it's just great.
Lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Never stop.
Never.
That's it, man. That's it. I can't believe it's been, as many years as it's been, and I love it, man. Like, I'm talking to you, we're talking about the stuff, and I'm like, this is what's up, and it's just so rewarding, to
Yeah,
see,
exactly.
like, you lost 50 pounds and just came in from Muay Thai, and then you did Jiu-Jitsu, and then you started competing in Jiu-Jitsu, and then randomly, like, whatever, you had your mornings free, and then all of a sudden you do an MMA fight, and now you're just like dialed in, and you're giving back to the kids, and
But that's another thing too, that like I feel like it's something that people need to see, because people are looking for like huge changes in their lives, but it's like just saying yes to something that like you're not really too sure about, it could lead to so many other things. And I feel like as you describe that, I feel like it's a huge thank you to you, to Kevin, to all the people that I have around me to push me, and like to to give me a space to do all these things. And because you got to consider yourself like an artist, and this is what you do. Like, this is my way of expressing myself, and because of you, I have that, and like just all this kind of stuff involving all the coaches I have around me. But it's also because I've just been like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try that. Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Being open to the possibilities.
Yeah, because I mean, you never know. Like, it's like one door closes. I got fired, and another door opened, and now it's like just keep just trying things out. Just seeing where it goes, and just seeing where. And then sometimes like things don't work out. There's been plenty of things that have not worked out, but I'm just like, well, I still have this. Like, what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, it's cool, man. Like, and I think people need to start, checking that out more, just saying yes and seeing where it goes.
There's like a quote I think I saw. I think it was from that movie Benjamin Button. There's like top quotes from movies, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like you judge your life on the opportunities, not the opportunities that you took, but also on the opportunities that you didn't take.
Yeah.
The opportunities you take, right? But the opportunities that you didn't take, right? Mm-hmm. And so like being open to the possibilities, right?
Yeah, I heard a story too about, I think it was like John Berthold, the actor. I don't really know how to say his last name, but he had a story about it was a story about like a Russian story about like a seagull and stuff like that.
A seagull,
Yeah, and the guy was just like, I guess the seagull represented like this woman that he loved or something, and then like he was chasing the seagull, and then one day like he shot the seagull down, and he kind of held the seagull, and he's like, well, now what? When like he could have been like, you know, chasing after that seagull, and like kind of, I know I'm probably botching the story, but he, you know, like following that seagull and seeing it where it takes you instead of just like trying to attain that one thing, because sometimes we get something.
The journey, focusing on the journey rather than the destination, right?
Exactly, because sometimes like we get something that we wanted for so long, and then you get it, and you're like, this is not what I expected it to be. Whether it's a job, whether it's whatever you're pursuing, like you get it, and you're like, but it's because like you didn't really enjoy what it took to get there. Or you were just in such a rush to like get it, and it's, you know, like it's human nature. Like you want it to be yours, and you want it to be
going back to your thing. I just want to get this fight out of the way, right?
Yeah.
But like now you're like, now I want to be the best fighter I can be.
Exactly, because it's like even in the training, like
enjoying
like,
the process, enjoying the, you know, the discipline.
That was the goal.
Routine.
Like, that's the journey. Like, yeah, sure. Like in a more simple way, like winning the fight was the goal, right? But it's like it's the training and the hard training and the person that I became, and then afterwards, you know, being able to like public speak a little more, like, you know, just getting better at fighting, getting better with my training, getting smarter. Like that's like the part that it made me take a look at it, because you win and you're like, oh man, that was awesome, but it goes away after like 2 days, and you're like, all right, well now what?
What's next? Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's just how it is. It's really taught me to kind of like enjoy and savor it and stuff like that, because from the time I started to now, like now I'm 25 now. Those 5 years went by in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know, but I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. That's it. There's I think some whatever a meme or something like that, and it's like, is it the destination or is it the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's the company. right. And so
Yeah.
it's also the company, right? The people you have around you, like in the thing. And then when I talk to old school guys like Hoist Gracie and different legends, right? People that have been in the game for, you know, I don't know, 50, 60, whatever years. You know, they're like, what's the biggest thing that jiu-jitsu or martial arts has given you?
Yeah.
And they always say the same thing, like the relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are the things that get you through all the years and the ups and the downs. And
exactly. No, yeah, it's true.
It can be like the kids too, right? You forming the relationships with the kids and seeing them grow up to become teenagers and good, strong adults and good people, and you keeping them in check. Hey, what are you doing?
Exactly. You know? And it's like, and they know like I'm here to help. And then at the end of the day, like it's something that I told my sisters too. I'm like, hey man, like I was just like you like not too long ago. Like I was, like I know it. Like, you know what I mean? And this is like, it is what it is. Like I'm here to help you out, like, and stuff like that. And yeah, I just really value that, being able to help and stuff like that, because I also value the people who help me, the people who are like, you know, to tell me over and over, and I just want to give back in the end. So it's awesome. It really is.
Awesome, brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming up and spending time connecting, you know?
No, thank you for having me. This
talking about the journey.
Everything I thought it would be. It was awesome.
Did you think when you showed up as a white belt that you were going to be here talking about all this stuff with Alberto on the podcast?
No. I used to, like...
Can people hear, you think? Okay, yeah. Did you think when you were white belt that you'd be here talking to me on, you know, on here, on about all the stuff you've done now?
No. Even now, like, it's surreal to me, because, like, it's crazy.
All the stuff you've done, right? You didn't know you were going to do it.
I had no idea. Like, to me, I honestly, like, I was familiar with, like, belts, and I was familiar, but, like, to me, it was very basic. It was just, I just want to get in there, and I want to lose weight, and then, like, I was just in here every day, and then I was like, I should compete, and so now, like, seeing where it is, like, you know, on a podcast with Alberto Crane, like, it's, like, all this stuff is, like, it's crazy. Like I said, sometimes getting to train with some of the guys who I've watched on YouTube, getting to meet people who I used to watch, like, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this is just being in these rooms, like you said, the company, like, it just, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think everything worked out the way it was supposed to.
Nice. You gonna get your black belt?
Yes, most definitely. I'll get my black belt. Yeah, it's one thing I always say, like, even now, like, you know, I'm fighting and stuff like that, but whatever I choose to do to be with my life, I was joking with some of the guys the other day. I was like, man, I don't care. I was like, I have plenty of time to figure it out. I was like, I'll be a plumber and I'll still be training. Like, I don't care. Like, this is something that I want to do, like, for the rest of my life. And when, you know, just like when I have kids, like, have them training and stuff like that and show them the way. Obviously, I don't want them to fight. Like, I'd rather they play baseball or something. But if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do.
Would you have them do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, of course. Like, because it teaches you, you know.
They can still play baseball, but they can.
Yeah, but it's like eventually, like, it's like you got to get on the mat. You got to see you got to see what's up.
And play football, right? Jiu-Jitsu would have helped you in football and
Yeah,
different
probably. Yeah, and that was another thing too, where I remember when I was like 12, like I said, I used to go to an MMA gym and stuff like that, and they would have a spar. And I remember I used to go to. This is a funny story, but I used to go to school with this kid, and he was the son of the guy who ran the program, and he was a real quiet kid. Like nobody ever really. I never really saw him with anybody. I think I hardly even saw him in school, but he was there. And I remember when I went to go spar, like my first round was against him, and I was like, we were both like 12, and he beat the brakes off of me. And then I would see him around at school, and I would always be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" Like, but I was like, bro, like nobody knows that this kid is a savage, like, you know. And that, like, to me, it like sparked an idea. Like, I was like, man, like if he could do it, I could learn that. And same thing with me for jiu-jitsu.
Being humble and
yeah,
nobody knows.
When I was training in COVID, because we were training and stuff like that. And in my opinion, those are like people who were like hardcore training. Like if you were training during COVID, like you were hardcore.
Fight Club 2020.
Yeah, you were hardcore about like training. And I was training with these people, and I feel like it only made me better because I'd get my butt kicked. But I always tell people, I feel like two things happen when you come in for your trial class, right? Especially for jiu-jitsu. With Muay Thai, it's different because, you're learning combos, right? It's like kind of like dancing almost, you know? Not until obviously you're sparring, but with jiu-jitsu, it's different. I feel like two things happen in your mind, and it's the fight or flight. Either you come in and you're like, man, like this is awesome. Like I got my butt kicked, but if these people are doing it to me, I could do it to them with time, with time, patience, all that. Or you could be like, that was the worst experience I've ever had, and you completely run away from it, and you never want to do it ever again in your life. And that's one of two things that happens. Like, and to me, that's what would happen. It happened to me with that kid, and then it happened to me again when I started training. I was like, man, like everybody's kicking my butt. But I would see like flashes of things that I learned before, and I was like, I could definitely do this. Like I could definitely keep getting better at this. And from then on, like
What made you think that?
I think partly maybe like confidence and just thinking like it's like, I mean, it's true. Like it's like if I think I've always just been that way. Like it's like if that person could do it, that I could do that too. Mm-hmm. Like it's like why not? Like it's like I'm healthy, I'm capable. Like why can't I? But everything takes time, and it's like, are you willing to put in that time? Because yeah, it's like people say like, oh, how do I get better? And it's like, oh, you show up every day.
Why were you willing to put in the time?
I mean,
you wanted to lose the weight. Okay.
I wanted to lose the weight, and then partly because like I just, I guess now like being out of high school, I was like, I'm not going to college. I'm not like, it was just one more of those things where I just felt like I needed this. Like I was like, I want to get better, and it was just that like little voice in my head being like, oh, like I want to get better. Like I want to
be better.
Yeah, I want to be as good as these people. Like I would roll with guys like X, and I was like, man, this guy's insane. Like it, just rolling with like, just with the people who the OGs back then, Julian. That was another one that guy would put it on me, and just being like, man, like I want to do these things. Like I want to be this good. Like, and that's what kept me coming back.
Julian, that's funny.
Yeah, Julian Fletcher. Yeah, you know what I mean. That guy does like real estate and like he's like comedy like actor, and he kicked my butt. Like he would kick my butt. X, same thing. X is like he's like a what, like
attorney.
Yeah, like he's like an attorney and stuff like that, and he's a monster. Like it's like, you know what I mean. Like anybody who's ever rolled with X, like they know like that guy is, But I mean, I'm leaving out a lot of people, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But it's like, it's this like long list of people who I used to train with, and then now like I see people starting out and stuff. And I came in by myself. Like it's like now I see people like
without a friend, without even knowing anybody here.
Yeah, and then like now it's like the mats are full of like white belts, and like people like, and it's like, oh, you don't want to train? Like it's like, you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, it's just one of those things. Like I just remember what it was back then, and like I said, it only helped me because I was like, man, if these guys are doing it to me, I could get better and I could learn these things. And I would ask questions. I mean, I would ask like, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? And it's because it just interested me. I've always thought it was cool, and yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thank you, bro. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you so much for having me.
And looking forward to all the things you're going to be doing and continue to do.
Thank you.
As well. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.